Fáilte. My name is Andrew Healy and I'm a lover and drinker of Irish whiskey. I'm on a journey of discovery to learn as much as I can about the great spirit of the Emerald Isle. Along that journey, I'm lucky enough to meet other people who are passionate about Irish whiskey, and the My Favourite Irish podcast is their story and their favourite Irish whiskey. Whether that's their current favourite, their first ever dram, or one that has a special place in their life. On today's episode, I got to spend some time recently with Ciaran Mason, bar manager at the famed Johnnie Fox's pub in Glencullen, County Dublin. And we talked about Ciaran, Johnnie Fox's, and his favourite Irish whiskey, Redbreast. Heads up that some of the audio is a little distorted. We were at the pig house at Johnnie Fox's with lots of background noise. Listen along. Fáilte Arash to my favourite Irish. We're normally at a bar, but we're not at a bar today. Ciaran, where are we?
We're sitting up in a pig house, Johnnie Fox's pub. We're in front of a nice open fire. What a better way to start the day.
Exactly. So I'm here with Ciaran Mason, floor manager here at Johnnie Fox's. We're here to obviously talk about your favourite Irish, but little bit of stories first, because there's always great stories.
Well, we're sitting in a very historic building. It's going since 1798, and over the years it's immersed in many historical events. It's been a safe house.
Okay.
So you've got a room full of Michael Collins memorabilia. You've got Daniel O'Donnell actually on the deeds of the pub.
Really?
So over the years it's also been a live venue for RTE radiocasts in the 60s and 70s. So you'll see many pictures of Dubliners and all. Raglan Road was actually done from here. So there's a lot going on in the pub, and I mean you see the walls, they're full of history, they're full of, it's basically a museum as well.
Yeah.
And it's great coming into work to see that every day.
Yeah, no, I can imagine. As I mentioned to you, I viewed these walls many years back when I was a teenager, so I've seen the place evolve. It's fantastic, but obviously add some shots of the place afterwards. So how long have you been here, Ciaran?
I've been here 6.5 years.
Okay.
I enjoyed it. Yeah, it's good because every day, and Tony's now his biggest complaint is he's run out of wall space to put everything up. And he also comes around every now and again with a hammer or he takes them down and moves them around just to keep us on our toes.
Not planning on putting any on the ceiling?
He has in some of the other rooms. He hasn't got it up here yet.
Okay.
But then it's early days yet, because if you look at some of the other rooms, there's all sorts of hoes and forks and things, all farming stuff. So he's got everything on it.
So 6.5 years, obviously 2 and a bit of those have been the pandemic.
Well, yes, unfortunately, and we've had to invent ourselves many a time. We've had a hatch window. We used to deliver pints, we deliver hot food at night, we used to do restaurant quality during the day, we'd cook it off, blast chill it, and then ship it out before 6:30, so then 6:30 we'd be back, and people bring up, we had spice boxes which only used to eat those type of things, but it kept, you had to invent yourself.
Yeah.
So we're on the road all the time, we never stopped trying to do something to keep the place open.
Good for you, and obviously I suppose we're pretty much out of it now.
We are, thank God. It's coming back. Our hoolies are back to nearly full capacity each night. Customer coming back. Our regulars are back. So it's great in that sense to think that it's like we just woke up from a nightmare.
Yeah, I would echo that sentiment.
Yeah, now everything is starting to get back to normal. It's a wonderful thing.
Okay, and you mentioned the hoolie. Now, I know what the hoolie is, and I have to say, you may not know this, I actually am the proud owner of a dance diploma.
You got excellent.
Did back when we were here with the family, and I'm going to say it was 2019. There's video of that as well, which I'm not sure I want to share.
But it's a great part of it because we normally have 140 people in there, and at random the dancers will take 4 people out of the audience.
Yeah.
And it's just shock and horror at some of their faces. Then they get up, and after that little bit of a dance, they give them a certificate.
Yeah.
And to walk when they're going out at 9 to 6, you enjoy the show, and they're first up there, and it's pride. And there's a couple of people come back and looking for a second one, or ours is on the wall. We have it on the wall, and she never stops talking about it. But it's great to see that we installed that. We give the memories, and people keep coming back because of those memories.
And so the guys and girls who are part of the, is it the troupe or?
It's a troupe, and they're all Riverdance quality. They're all top dancers. I mean, there was one time there when Riverdance was back on in Dublin, and some of the dancers, the shows at night were running a little bit late because they might have to do an encore, and then they were flying from town up here to one. Yeah. So it's good in that sense that they take pride as well. They come up here and they've been. I mean, one of the girls there, Robin, When I started here 6.5 years ago, she was about that height. Now she's up there and she dances with the seniors. She started dancing with the kids.
Good for her.
And it's good to see that.
Yeah.
That they're constantly coming up and that they want to stay with us.
Yeah, no, it makes.
And even though a lot of them are professionals, they're all dance teachers in their own right. They have classes going, and then to see them staying with us is great.
Yeah, no, it makes complete sense.
Yeah.
We'll just take a little pause because it's better behind your shoulder. We'll slice and dice that one. So, can we say up here? So I know where we are. We're in the village of Glencullen.
We're in the village of Glencullen. We're famed as the highest pub in Ireland, which is controversial at times because a couple of people that try and say that we're higher. We're famed as the highest pub, and because of that, we're sticking with that, and we're happy that we're elevating up.
Yeah, and I remember back in the day, it is a drive up here from the
Enniskerry
Road.
It's a destination pub, and it's one where people do really have to make their way up here. So we hope that because they've made that effort, we're looking after them when they come up in the hope that they return again.
And so driving up here today brought back memories for me. When you look to the south of us here, you can see the Sugarloaf, down into Wicklow.
Yeah, and the whole, and especially then if you go drive up a little bit further to the viewpoint at night with the lights, you see the whole of Dublin.
Yeah.
And it's just magical about the place, and that's, again, it's something to come up to. When people come up here, they plan to come up here. We had the accolade there recently where a couple of people come, but they ran in about 11 o'clock in the morning. Any chance of getting a bit of, we just passed through us. What's all the fuss? We came through the airport, the person that stamped our visa recommended here.
Really?
So we're heading to Galway, but we thought we'd have to come up after he said that. I mean, that to us is just wonderful. That's the first person that they step into the country, they haven't even left the airport, and the first person that stamps their visa, Johnnie Fox.
So you've got the immigration officers on your
We
side
have,
as well.
yeah, and that wasn't, we're not paying them.
Yeah, great. Well, doesn't that just kind of play into the classic Irish Cape mythology?
Yes.
Like, welcome to the country. What are you here for? We'll enjoy a bit of whiskey. And
we're lucky enough with our staff as well that we don't make them robots as such. We try and keep their personality.
Right.
So they can react to the customers. The customers want that. They don't want individual people. So we let them sort of relax as well. As long as the service still has to be good, they can relax. And I think that brings it. It brings the vibe.
Yeah. No.
And then hopefully our food is constantly a good standard, and that in itself, good food keeps coming back.
Yeah, and obviously good whiskey too will keep
good
coming
whiskey,
back.
yes, indeed. I mean, we have whiskey sales have gone crazy. Ireland, where we were unique, that we were some of the biggest with brewery distilleries in the world around, and then we lulled off for a good while, and now thankfully we're all coming back, and the whiskey is back in the world market, and it's literally taken off. And its supply now is a problem. Sometimes we just can't get some of the whiskies we want, and it's not just the ordinary ones; it's all of them.
Yeah.
And it's nice to see people savour the whiskies.
So you and I are from a similar generation, obviously. We can tell by the grey around the chops
That's
there.
it, yeah.
So you'll remember the day, as I do, in the 80s and 90s when there was 4 or 5 brands.
Abbey, Tower and Jameson.
Yeah, and maybe a little bit of Blackbush, or on occasion, I always thought Tullamore Dew back then was an export whiskey.
Tullamore Dew had an unfair market over here in the sense that on the world market it outdone some of the other ones.
Yeah.
But the Irish never took to it.
Yeah.
Because it was a little bit too smooth for them. They liked it a little bit, I don't know why, but now thankfully people are starting to, we thought it was, that's actually quite nice.
Yeah.
And I had the pleasure of going around the distillery and into the craft shop and all, and it is amazing, and it's nice to see that the Irish people have actually started to say, well, let's drink our own whiskey again, and let's come in and let not just stick with our classic brands. Let's go out and start trying whiskies, and that's spawned it.
Yeah, and of course, not too far from us here. You and I both grew up in and around this area. I never thought there'd be a distillery 4 miles, 6 kilometres down the road in Powerscourt.
And we just got their whiskies in.
Great.
And it's a shame, because we should have really got it from the start. And we had their whiskies, and now we're going to try and match up a little bit to try and that they can send people up here, and we can send people down there, or whatever, around the distillery.
Yeah,
it's great to have it.
It makes sense, doesn't it?
Yeah, and I have to say, unfortunately, we have it there, and I haven't tasted it yet.
That's okay. You can't taste everything.
No,
as
there's
I well
so many
know.
there, but we will get around. I will get around to it.
So, I'd love to talk about your whiskey selection here and your whiskey list, but I think what we should probably do while we're doing that is we should pour a wee dram of your
my favourite whiskey, yes, which also I like, the Redbreast 12. And the main reason for that is we had a very busy day here one day, and it was Father's Day, and I'm going through, I'm looking at something that I think is just as smart, and I see, oh, that's nice, we have that on the shelf, and it's being voted best whiskey in the world. And at the end of a long day, I went home, I sat, took the shoes off, we looked at the mantelpiece, and there was a bottle with Happy Father's Day, Dad. And I just thought,
that's fine stuff.
Yeah, that fine stuff there. Yeah. And I just said, it's just meant to be. I sat and I had 2 small ones there before I went, and I tell you, it's just brings back so many happy memories. And it's a lovely, lovely blend of whiskies.
And it's also my favourite Irish. So you and I are kind of whiskey lovers, twins separated at birth. I'm a big fan of it, and it's pretty much a house whiskey in our house. So let's we'll have a sláinte and then we'll talk about this. Yeah, sláinte. Thanks for sharing this. So who? That's
it just warms. It warms through you.
So who's? You've obviously have a great selection of whiskey here.
Yeah.
Who's
Ciaran is the main one that does all the whiskies, and of course then we all liaise and we all talk about it. And we're hoping to go to a few more distilleries now to get more, because we have to expand it. It's just getting crazy.
Yeah.
We're actually running out of space, so we have to be selective of the ones. But we're selling everything from the Barry Crockett's, the Black Barrel. We're selling all the different types of whiskies, and it's good to see it.
Yeah.
So, but it's hard to balance of, you can't, do we have too many or do we have too, we have to have a balance, and that's hard.
There can be no such thing as too much whiskey.
Well, that's true, yes, but then the room behind the bar, we have to build a bigger bar.
What I was going to say, except when it comes to managing your stock.
That's our problem. That's our dilemma, and we're trying to keep it broad. Now we're trying to get, especially all the locals. We have the Rowan, we have Pierce, Lime, Teelings, we have all the locals. We're trying to keep the locals. But then yes, we do also have to travel far, because people travel all over the world to see us, and they have them by their own particular brand. And when they come over, we'd like to be able to offer it, or at least something similar to it. Yeah. And that's what we're trying to balance. So it's a never-ending balance.
And of course, supply issues.
Supply issues, yes. Some of them there we could sell it and then we can't get it. I mean, recently we've had to go out and buy nearly a couple of cases of this, because when we were buying 1 or 2, they just weren't. Then you bring out of stock for a couple of weeks or something like that. The same with the yellow spot, the blue spot. And a lot of them been out of stock, so we've had to bulk up on them to buy them.
And that of course affects cash flow.
It does.
Ties money up.
At the end, then because they're starting to sell, it's we like to think of it like an investment.
Yeah.
Because we're having it now, and ultimately, with everything cost effective and like that, they are going up in sales. So if you've got a few there behind you, you're sitting on a bit of a nest egg. Yeah. It's not dust carriers, if you have a dust carrier on your shelf, get rid of it. But we can't say this because they don't settle long enough to dust fall on them.
And when it comes to, obviously, I won't say writing the list, because obviously some you can get and some you can't. Do you like to have a balance between, obviously we both love Redbreast, but it's from the big boys, it's from our friends at Irish.
Oh, we do. We have the small ones. Yeah, we've even got sorry, I got blank. Glendalough. We've Glendalough whiskey, a small little thing, and Harrisburg. That's a small little distillery coming up as well. Yeah. So we have those. We like to get the little boys as well as the big boys. I mean, because we want to juice. I mean, if you think of it, Scotland the way out, nearly every place has a small distillery and all unique. And we want to be there that we can say, oh yeah, we have that to match with that. Cork, yeah, we have that. Yeah. And that's what we want to do. But it's a hard balancing act to get that. Yeah. Because the whiskey has to be able to stand up to it.
Yeah, it's interesting because we talked before, and I and you, and we know that it's got to be aged for 3 years before it can be called Irish whiskey. But the reality is most people are doing 5, 6, 7,
5, 6 years. The average one with a decent whiskey, they reckon it's not decent enough until it's 6 years.
Yeah, and that's a huge, obviously, time from the time.
Oh, it is. It's an investment, and it's like you can't think of when you're putting that in the bottle or in the cask that you're going to be the one that sees the best of it. The next generation will. Yeah. It's like the saying that does go through, you don't inherit the earth from your father, you borrow it from your children. Yeah. And you're hoping that when you're laying enough down, that they're going to get the benefit. And in some cases, their grandchildren might put, and you'd say, well, your great-great-great-grandfather put that in a barrel. And the history that's involved in that then, and just think the sense of belonging.
Yeah. And this is
part of that.
This is one of the things, so as I've gone down this journey, I've been doing a lot of reading and done a few of the certificates out there on Irish whiskey history, and it's fascinating. I didn't realise that so much of our modern day culture is actually wrapped up in a lot of our history and our whiskey history.
Oh, it is. Yeah, it is. It's one-on-one. I mean, look at the pot stills.
Yeah.
I mean, the Egyptians used to use perfume. An Irish fella looked at it and says, "Oh, I'm going to do something better with that."
Of course.
And he invented whiskey.
Of course he did.
I mean,
yeah.
And from that, then it's. I mean, Rowan Distillery, they just come back on board, but they just resurrected themselves. But that was the biggest whiskey distillery in the world.
Yeah.
And beside that in Liberties, there was a major fire one time in the whiskey thing, and there wasn't one person killed in the fire. They were killed drinking the runoffs, the lees of whiskey that were running down the path. They were picking that, drinking that, and they were getting that alcohol poison. And that killed them, but not the fire never got them.
No, it's there's dozens of great stories wrapped up in our whiskey history. So back to Johnnie Fox's here. Obviously, you've great selection.
Yeah.
Do you do anything the Americans would call it a flight? So you might do a tasting flight of 3 spots or 3 red.
Not as yet. We it's something we will think of when we get the balance, because it's an ongoing thing. We at the moment we haven't even got our drink list up properly because it's constantly evolving because of the supply issues with some of the whiskies. But yes, we would like to do that, and hopefully then with some of the distilleries we can plan things that they might bring a crowd up here. Like Tullamore actually do send up a lot of their crew.
Okay.
And we will, they go through to a few whiskies just to get them outside the environment. So yes, we'd love to be able to do that with a lot of other people.
So yeah,
it is something we're planning.
Great.
It is something. I mean, we do Irish coffee shows and whatever else. So yes, whiskey. I mean,
so
a few different.
So now you would do an Irish coffee workshop or something?
We do, yeah. We literally, a group will come up and we have a small little bar, so it's usually intimate, 10 to 15 people, and we go through all the details of making the Irish coffee. And then of course then we do it to whiskies, and we get a few different whiskies.
To see the difference.
Because we have Royal Johnnie Fox's whiskey as well.
Really? Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's 10-year-old single malt.
Made by?
It's made by MCD. It's I believe it's an old Teelings batch from back, and they have it. We get it through Cork. It's brewed up in Dublin also. So all that's
great. And
we rented that for a good while, so we're only just starting to get it back again.
More supply.
Yeah, more supply issues. Yeah.
And I know, being raised here and having gone to Colin Brew Street, obviously with your colleague here, Suzanne, we did a bar class back then. Second year, we did a bar class. And obviously we were told the history of the spots and the Redbreast, and how back in the day every town in Ireland had a distillery, and it wasn't like that in 1990.
Yeah.
But one of the things we did for a number of weeks is we made cocktails. We made all the classics. That was part of our training. Are cocktails a thing here?
They are, yes. Thankfully, we because of the space on that, we've limited them down. But we do have our old fashioned. Now we do it instead of being bourbon, we'd actually do it in Irish.
Okay.
We also do the whiskey sour, which is one of the classics. Everyone likes whiskey sour. You can't go wrong with that.
Yeah.
So mainly they're the two that we do. But we do push because it can be time consuming as well. And because we can so big, and we're literally are stuck with space sometimes behind the bar. So we have the classics in it. But yes, if someone asked for something that we could do it, we would do it.
Yeah, it's interesting. And I, when I was in college, I worked behind the bar in the Silver Tassie and the Old Colin Golf Club.
Oh my God! Yeah.
So I know how an Irish bar works. Certainly back then, cocktails are time consuming. But the flip side of it is, from a kind of a revenue and
they're very good for revenue. Yes,
yeah.
They're very, very good. So that's why we have about 6 on it.
Okay, great.
And so therefore it's less time consuming when you're constantly muscle memory and you're shaking
the same ones. Yeah.
And of course then if someone asks for something that's easy enough done, we will do it. It's not we refuse. We sometimes it's just better to try to keep the ones we know.
Makes sense. Yeah.
Because labour intensive all that. But yeah, I mean there's some nights in there they do espresso martinis, fly out the whiskey.
They're all the rage, aren't they?
They fly out. They do.
They're all the rage.
And it's
not just here, but across the pond and across Europe. Everybody
loves
them.
They're bringing out machines that do it now. But the machines just aren't the same. I think when you're doing it, you need the shake.
Yeah.
You need it's just part of the show.
Yeah.
We're either going to put a glass under a pop and it comes up, and it might look the same, but the show is not there.
Yeah, that's part of it.
That's it. They want to see and shake that shaker.
Yeah, definitely.
Want it and want to learn about it.
Definitely. Let me just.
I see you have a little sip, so I'll have a little sip myself again.
Yeah. Very good. So, obviously, you talked earlier on about food and the quality of the food here. Do you do anything like? Would you do a whiskey and food pairing?
We could. I mean, Like our smoked salmon would go very well with the Clonmore Dew.
Okay.
You know, so we would, like if someone asked, yes we would. And we try and train the staff. At the moment, because of COVID, our staff are still gaining knowledge because we have a lot of new staff, we've lost the course, so it's ongoing training events. But yes, we want to instill in that. So at the moment we've gone through wine with them and we're going through beer with them. But yes, whiskey is something we'd love to make sure, because people are, you know, because people did frown about, you wouldn't have a beer with this or with that. And now they see it, oh, they do work. Wines work, beer works, so why not whiskey? Yes, so we will match up whiskies with certain foods.
Yeah, it's something, again, as part of my journey I'm learning about, but what I'm kind of coming down to is that whiskey and chocolate seem to be an interesting pairing.
Good dark chocolate.
So maybe something at the end of the meal, you know, a nice...
You can actually see it now going with that nicely. Nice warm dark chocolate.
Yeah. So no, that's the joy of it, is
the bitterness of the chocolate against the sweetness is going
on. Yeah, no, that's a fair point.
Yeah. So there's always something to go with something.
Yeah, no, there is, and if it doesn't, we'll put it together anyway.
Oh yes, yes.
Because you pay your money.
A lot of people do, you know, some say wine, for example, or something like that. They'd say, oh, what wine will go with this? And I might say, oh, if it's a bit of salmon, you know, you might like a Chardonnay. Oh, I don't drink Chardonnay. I don't like Chardonnay. And then try, what would you like? What would I drink? Sauvignon Blanc all the time. So why give them? To me, Chardonnay does go with it. It goes really well with it. But if that person doesn't like that particular grape, give them the one they do like. It's not going to spoil the meal. They're good, the enjoyment. But if you put something on it that they're not sure and they're not big, you'll spoil the meal for them.
Yeah. No, it's all about the customer.
It's about the customer. If that customer walks out happy, grand. As I said, when I started there years ago, it used to be where you put the same amount of water into the whiskey to wake the spirit.
Well, there was my next question.
And now,
how do you drink yours?
As it is. As it is.
Okay.
Because I don't think it needs as such. For years we were under that, and then one day, you know, people started tasting. So, oh, no, we're still getting the same flavors. We're actually getting them a little more concentrated. You're putting the water and you're blending them down a little.
It's interesting as I've started tasting these more seriously.
Yeah.
So going back to my wine background, where you do know the appearance, the nose, and the palate, I taste them through, and then I'll add 5 drops, kind of scientifically kind of 5 drops. And what I'm finding is that the flavors are almost kind of flipping.
They are, because you're waking. There is, I suppose, a thing that when they used to say you put the same amount of water to the same amount of whiskey because you wake the spirits, and that to a degree is right, because when you taste it there and you put a little water, you might dull one and
bring the exactly.
So it's each different. So every person can get their enjoyment in the whiskey to the level they want. I mean, years ago, someone poured a tonic into that, you go, ugh, and now they're enjoying it.
Yeah.
And that's their go-to. So, I mean, Redbreast wouldn't mind because as long as it's their selling.
Exactly.
But I personally, that's the way I like it. Straight up, and just sip it and enjoy it.
Good. No, this is the thing. It's what your preference is.
It's down to your own palate, your own choice. Because my apologies. Yeah. If you're enjoying something, why change it?
Yeah.
If it's not broke, don't fix it.
I agree with you. Okay. Well, we found out what your favourite Irish is, which mirrors mine, which is fantastic. Thank you for your time. Thank you very much. I appreciate you hosting us here at Johnnie Fox's in Glencullen. Famed. I can actually say famed worldwide, because this pub is famed.
Famed is the highest pub in Ireland.
And it's great to be back here. I've got memories of this place from many decades ago. Lovely to be back here in the pig house, is it?
The pig house, yeah.
Pig house here at
Going back years ago, the animals more or less would have stayed around, I think, because that was their warmth over winter and all the kids. So why lose? The nice fireplace. Up here now. We'd like to go up there, but can you change the name? He says, no, we can't. I mean, 1798, the big house. Yeah. Why do we change it?
Yeah, it's obviously a nod to the history of the place.
It is, yeah. I mean, it's steeped in history. The Fox family have it since 1798. They're still steeped in the area. Tony has it last about 35 years. And he's responsible for really bringing it on and turning it into a full museum. But the Foxes still pop their heads in every now and then. Make sure we're still up to the standard.
Yeah, keeping the bar high.
And it's good to see it. It is, because they're lovely people.
Yeah, it's wonderful that there's still that connection with the ancestry of the pub. So, I think with that we're going to wrap this up. We should do another slide. Yeah. So
thank you very much.
Thank you again, and I appreciate your time.
Thanks for taking the time to listen to this episode. You'll find more episodes wherever you get your podcasts, and you'll find the My Favourite Irish videos. That's Irish Whiskey with an E, LAD.com. Until next time, Sláinte Mhath.